The quick afternoon trip these two brothers are taking across their parents' property is not unlike the one they took together 15 years ago.
Sure is nice today, ain't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
They've set out in search of some deer they spotted earlier down near the gully, coming out of a thicket and into the pasture.
Yeah, man, Roger Bose killed them up along that old gully.
Back at Mike Crittenden's house hangs the mounted proof of his last successful hunt. It was just 3 days before his most memorable one.
Me and David, my youngest brother, had hunted that morning, and
Mike had left his gun case in the back of my pickup truck. I had a camper top on it. So I thought, well, I'll run that down there to him.
and we were working up the deer, getting it ready, the one I had killed on Tuesday morning.
When we came out from finishing that up, we just kind of agreed between us that it should be a good evening because the rain had stopped, and we just felt that we needed to go back up there and hunt that evening.
It was the day after Thanksgiving. The brothers were optimistic and anxious. They had also allowed the holidays to bridge the gap between the days when they hunted together as children and the ones hunting alone as independent adults.
I had just got home and I saw David and Mike go up the hill. And I knew they were going hunting, but I had a strange feeling, you know, like something was going to happen.
We just had agreed on walking up the hill together that we'd hunt, you know, till dark.
We'd hunted that day together, and if it hadn't been for that, I'd have been by myself.
This tree up on a ridge behind Mike's grandmother's house looks pretty much the same way that it did 15 years ago. But what happened here in the blink of an eye changed everything for him and his family.
I had just climbed down and had stepped out of my stand and was untying my rifle when I heard his climber hit the ground.
He was pretty well accustomed to that because hardly ever did I use the climber to get back down the tree. I'd just take it loose and hang it on the side of my stand or just pitch it out on the ground.
But just like the brothers had decided on a whim to go hunting, Mike made the spontaneous choice to use his climber to come down the tree.
When he put his weight on it, it came loose, and he had done put all of his weight onto the handle part here, and that made him lose his balance, and he fell off backwards.
I fell almost 16 feet. First was I hit on my left arm, and then top of my head, just straight down. Just a blink of an eye, just a blink of an eye. And it was over with.
A split-second decision to do something different than he normally would left Mike a quadriplegic.
I always figured that if I got hurt, it would be while I was sitting there in the stand. Never dreamed it would happen getting down.
Never thinking it will happen to you is probably what causes all of us to be careless on occasion. But Mike admits he was not only careless while hunting, he had become rather rebellious with his whole life.
I believe it was in God's plan to open my eyes.
I knew that he needed to be in a better relationship than what he was with the Lord.
I don't feel that God caused it to happen or anything like that. I believe he allowed it to happen to give me a change of attitude.
After months in the hospital, rehab centers, and years of recovery, Mike wrote a book about all that happened, how his life changed, not only physically, but also spiritually.
I was told that one gentleman said he came to know the Lord through the book. And if that one person was all it was meant for, then I'm happy with it.
It took almost 10 years, but as you can see, Mike and his brother are back out hunting. They like to stay a little closer to the ground now in a pop-up blind, and there's usually more joking than there is hunting.
Come here, dear. I got you something.
That's been a help to the healing process. You know, knowing that he has that desire to try to go again. It's a different perspective on hunting now. You know, it's not all about the kill, you know, or seeing the big buck or whatever, you know. You ready to go?
Yep.
Alrighty.
The brothers didn't harvest a deer the day Mike was injured, and they won't be taking one home today. But Mike is more careful now, paying closer attention to what he's already been given.
Thing riding all right?
Oh yeah, we got her now. Even though I'm in a wheelchair and handicapped and all, but there's just a joy in my soul that it's unspeakable. Well, I had another good time, didn't you?
I'm Annette Nole Hall on Tennessee's Wild Side.